Welcome back to another episode on Transform. Sam and I are so excited to dive into this episode where we talk all things mindset. You guys sent in some awesome questions that we had to dive into and share what's working in our world. Of course, this is our own experiences, what tools we have in our toolbox that we're loving, and we're excited to tap in and share them with you all. So we will have these Q&As quite often too. You can always follow us at Transform, or on our personal, we'll post a Q&A box and you guys can type in your question, and just know we save them all and we try to get to them all. But these were some of the top questions on mindset. So I think let's jump right in with number one. First question is, how do you handle bad days when you feel sad or need to feel it all?
I love what Jay Shetty said when he came on Transform. And honestly, y'all, Jay for Sam and I is such a vision holder of someone who is not only out there speaking to the work, but is really practicing what he preaches. And I love what he said about understand the difference between a bad day and a bad 10 minutes. And honestly, that's something I ask myself now all the time when I am feeling the blues, when I am just not feeling my best self. I do check in and I say, okay, is this a bad day or is this a bad 10 minutes? And from there, what I do is I'll always tap into my toolkit. And when I say toolkit, I mean I'm going to go cuddle my dogs because they cure literally everything. I'm going to call my people. I'm going to call my dad, Sam, my brother, my family, those few friends that you have that always bring that sunshine and that light into your days that can either just listen or give you the life-changing support that you're needing. I love going out in nature. That always changes my perspective. Even something as simple as knowing when you need to take yourself for a walk. Like with the dogs, they know when they need to go for a walk. And I actually know for us humans, we need to take ourselves for walks too. So there's very specific things that I do when I'm having a bad day. And I also think giving yourself permission to feel, don't shut that off and don't push that out. Really feel what you're feeling. And something that I've tapped into this year that I'm so grateful for is journaling. And to me, journaling really is this honest and open conversation with self. So if you're feeling your feels, have that conversation with yourself. Understand what is making you feel this way. Is this a reaction to something? Is it a response to something? Is this a pattern that has come up time and time again? Is this something that maybe you want to have another conversation with someone else around? Or is this something that is calling in some change for your life? And to me, journaling has been a life-changing tool that's allowed me to not only get real with who I am and what I'm feeling, but also allowed me to create space to action the change that is needed in my life to really live my best life.
I love that. I feel like that episode with Jay, I listened to it on repeat, and
Yeah.
I could not agree more about the moment where he talks about bad days or bad moments. And I think when you learn about expression of or having expression and letting yourself feel these emotions. So say you had a bad moment of you felt really sad or you felt really left out or you felt really defeated or some type of emotion came through. Emotions actually can last 90 seconds, or you need to cry for 10 minutes, whatever it is. But the more that we push it down and don't allow ourselves to feel that emotion, that is where I think for me personally, it turns into a bad day. Because then if I don't allow myself to feel that emotion, here comes my thoughts. They now create this entire story of how this is just me. This is how my life is going to be. It's
Mhm.
just a bad day, but it's probably a bad life too. We probably should just give up. This is the journey. If I let my thoughts just create the story of a bad moment and not humanize it and allow the part of me that's really sad or angry or needs to have a little bit of a fit, think of like a little kid. You let them have their
Mhm.
little temper tantrum, and then afterwards they're playing with their friends 5 minutes later. We need to give ourselves the exact same. So after I allow myself to feel the emotion, again, when you feel sadness, think about when after you cry, you're like, why do I feel so much lighter? It's allowing yourself to actually let go of control and feel those emotions. And I think that's important when having a bad day or a bad moment. I also go to my beautiful tool box, which has a lot of similar tools as Sam's does. I have that call a friend. Co-regulation is massively important, and it's very important of who you pick to call. I would absolutely pick someone that they are in a regulated state. So first asking them if they're in a state where they can take your call and letting them know that you're in a state where you need someone to be there for you. I had this happen the other day where a friend from Hoffman actually
Mhm.
reached out and called me, and I said, I'm at a dinner. And they said, I really need a friend. Let me know when you feel available.
Mm.
And it was very important for me to call that friend back when I actually felt centered in myself because I could tell they needed some co regulation.
Yeah.
The magic of actually calling someone, even on FaceTime, seeing their face and them being in their body already is showing your nervous system that we are okay to have this bad moment and letting ourselves feel it because we feel safe. So, having those people in your life you absolutely can call or text or connect with. I think another tool for myself is getting outside.
Mhm.
When we go outside, we are already regulating ourselves. So it's again not saying I can't have a bad moment. It's just taking that bad moment and that emotion and allowing nature, allowing the beauty of nature to help yourself. Maybe you're going to start crying on the walk, but you feel supported by the land. Feel supported by the ocean. And that is something I do to get into my body because when I have a bad day or a bad moment again, my mind likes to take over because it doesn't want us to feel it. And so it's kind of scattering for storylines or different things that are not helpful. So the best tool I could do is actually get more into my body. Sam actually gave this to me as I called her the other day, needing some mad co regulation. And I was so in my head. And she was like, go jump in the ocean. Go get in your body because you are so in your head right now. And it was such a beautiful moment for me to step into that water, and again, I think I was actually crying, like, in the water. I was crying, then I was laughing, but allowing myself to let go of that control and feel what it needed to feel, and then ask what it needed from there is a huge tool I use. The journaling one as well. There's this woman that has this tool of journaling for 20 minutes straight, which let me tell you, that is a very long time,
Yeah.
but it is very important to let the mind and body and everything that's coming through just stream of consciousness because what happens when you let yourself journal with zero control is your subconscious is able to be let in and so much comes through. Sometimes you're like, "Oh shit, I can't believe I just wrote that down." But it's important to let these things come out because when we store them, again, they can kind of grow and maybe have more bad days rather than a bad moment. So that is one of my favorite tools is to just have that stream of consciousness of like literally letting myself say whatever. I'm cussing. Sometimes I'm like, who is this girl? She's like now rapping,
I wanna
but you just
read.
let it happen.
Send me a pic next time.
I could never send you a photo of these notes. I
I
crumble
know,
them
our
or like
journals
tear
are, like,
them.
literally, like, burn books in themselves, I feel like.
They are, but they're that form of
Yeah,
expression of letting
it's
that bad
so
moment not
needed.
be 5 bad days.
Oh my gosh, I agree, and even, like, writing it out is so cathartic to me, like, there's so much expression within that, and if you're someone who's listening to this right now and you're like, "Oh my goodness, it's like bad day after bad day after bad day," I just want you to feel so seen in that we all have those seasons.
Mhm.
We all have felt that. And I want you to remind yourself that who you are and your strength is proven to you in moments like this. And I mean, hindsight 2020 is everything. And for me, when I've had my lowest lows, that's when I've always found my highest highs. And if you don't have the bad day, you can't stretch yourself and challenge yourself to figure out who you are, what you need, and where you're going from here. So while this does feel so heavy and dark and gloomy, just know that you actually are the light and it's within you right now. You don't need to go find the light. It's you figuring out how to harness your own light.
Sam, I'm so glad you said that, and hence this is why I call Sam when I'm having a bad day. Everyone know.
Just
This is
mini
why I
Oprah
call
over
her.
here. Goals just
But the point that she made is actually normalizing that bad days are okay. I think we give them a really bad rep, or we have to be so grateful for life. Every second of every day, we have to be so grateful. I have a body that can move. I live this dream. And it's like those moments are so important. But you know what's also important is that meeting yourself in that discomfort. And that is where you actually build that capacity. And a lot of the time when we're having these bad moments, it's an opportunity to meet a part of ourselves. It's an
Mhm.
opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to allow for more self-compassion and self-love so then we can actually give compassion and love to others
Mhm.
when they're having a bad day. So I think the more that you can invite in that bad days, bad moments, they happen to all of us and they're
Yeah.
actually here for a purpose. And someone always said to me, I think it was Nikki Novo, she always
Mhm.
says to ask when you're having those, what are you trying to teach me here? And it allows it to be more of a lesson and an invitation to learn more about yourself
Yeah.
rather than feel like you're in trouble or you're doing something wrong.
Mhm. It's such a beautiful part of human connection too. I honestly feel the personal urge recently to be able to share more of those moments because what Sam and I have realized, even with Transform, is as soon as we say yes to being vulnerable and going to those places of like speaking to the low lows, that is our bridge to connection with you. And it's really something that we all have in common. So, whether that's something that you personally want to share more of too, whether that's maybe if you are active on social media or just like with your friends or your partner or your family, I do think there's really this movement of like needing to normalize that it is something that we all share and to find your tribe in that, because I think that's where real connection lies. Our next question is, how do you break down a larger goal/vision into actionable daily steps? I love this.
I love this question because this is so a Sam question and so not a me question,
Yeah,
where I
right.
wanted to be so honest.
Sam.
No, seriously. This is my honest. I don't create really big goals. I connect to feelings.
Mm,
So I connect to what is my goal feeling, and then I create an image from there. So my goal feeling is to be in alignment, is to feel grounded, is to feel fulfilled, is to change the world.
mhm.
And as long as I'm connecting to those, I love to flow with life and dream what that dream is. And you're cracking up over there, but this is facts.
No, I mean, it is such facts, and this is why we're the most perfect yin yang to exist on this
I agree.
world.
I need someone like Sam to be like, "Okay, but let's talk some numbers or let's talk actually like how do you get there?"
Yeah.
And I will say having people that hold you accountable because I am such a feeler, goal visionary. I have my business coach Lori, and then I also have someone like Sam. I have people in my life that I do share the feelings that I want to feel, and then they've asked me, "Okay, what does this look like?" And from there I create this dream. So it'd be like, "Okay, this is the home I want. This
Yeah.
is so how much money do I need to make to actually reach these goals? Okay, got it. That's my goal for financials." And I'll kind of break it down that way. But I don't know, I'm such a pivoter. I'm such a like I have a goal and then it changes next week.
Yeah.
Like I don't attach myself to really big tangible goals. I attach myself to the feeling. So even within work, like Sam really has the goal of, okay, we want to reach this. And
Mhm.
I'm like, amazing. That feels, I will say I input if I'm like, that's not big enough, or let's go bigger, or let's, whoa, that seems
100%
a little
true.
scary.
Yeah.
Maybe let's take it down a notch. But I go off of every day. My goal is to feel my best. My goal is to feel aligned towards the goals that we're going to. Even starting on social media when I started 10 years ago, I remember someone said, "How many people do you want to reach?" And I said, "Millions." And that wasn't a goal, that was a knowing.
Mhm.
And I think that I always just connect to what would that make me feel? That would make me feel like my purpose is being so fulfilled. That would make me feel like I am living in my light. And that's how I connect to my goals.
This is such an important conversation to have because you can go either way. I would say that the difference here is qualitative versus quantitative. So, for someone like Sam, she's speaking to the quality of something, this qualitative goal of this feeling. Where for me, there's this quantitative aspect where there's a number, right? Like I'm a numbers person. first and foremost, I am a behind the scenes business finance girl. Like that is where I geek out. That is where I love to set goals. But even outside of business, let's think of my weight loss. I lost over 85 pounds. That's something that I was tracking, measuring, absolutely feeling. But it was milestones that I was chipping and chipping and chipping away at with very specific goals. So if you are a little bit more like me, what I would say is dream the dream, understand what that goal is. Let's look at weight loss right now. Okay, I knew I wanted to lose weight. Like that was something that had to happen in my life. I was saying, I'm going to change because I deserve change. And my initial goal was actually way smaller than what I ended up doing. At first, I wanted to lose 50 pounds. That was my huge goal. And that's a really big goal if you're saying yes, and now all of a sudden you want to lose 50 pounds. If you're doing it the right, slow, and steady way, which is the route I took, that's not happening overnight. So I said, okay, here's an entire year. If I want to lose 50 pounds in 1 year, what does that look like month over month? What does that look like week over week? Okay, now I'm looking at this amount of pounds per week and this amount of pounds per month, which is so much more digestible than just being like, I need to lose 50 pounds. And for me, any big goal in life can be taken down to a day by day approach. Let's think of Transform, our podcast. We launched Transform in January 2024. It's been a year and a half now of, oh my gosh, this amazing community that we are so grateful for. And Sam and I started batching episodes summer of 2023. So we knew we had this goal. We knew that we needed X amount of episodes to launch January 2024. So we took that big goal, brought it down to months, brought that down to weeks, and then day by day had a schedule and a plan to get there. And I think this is really where dreams come true. It's, as Sam said, you know who you are in this process, and then you find your people to support you. And dream the dream. Go big. Like, seriously, anything that you desire in this life is yours to have. Even when Andrew and I bought our first home here in Austin, it felt like such a stretch. Not only the feeling of it, but even the financial aspect of it. And Sam and I were just having a conversation like this. When you say yes to stretching yourself, you meet yourself there. And any dream, any desire that you have is yours to make your reality, but it's you being able to make a plan. I love Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, because for me, I think a superpower is being discerning and coming up with a plan. And being discerning to me is the simple definition of being able to make really good decisions for yourself. But if you can't say yes or no or right from wrong or that's great for me or that's not for me, then what happens is you're driving in circles. Your life becomes this cyclical pattern that's this vicious cycle that keeps happening and happening until you start making really great decisions for yourself that gives you the trajectory that you're desiring. So figure out what those big dreams are, what those feelings are, and then let's break them down. And I promise you, there is a day-by-day plan for any big goal that you have.
And for someone right now who's asking this question, and maybe you're asking it because you feel like you haven't been able to live the dream life that you are wanting, and you're like, how do I put this into play? This is a beautiful time to also face, I don't want to say face yourself, but invite in the opportunity to meet yourself and why you're not allowing yourself to dream as big as you want to. When Sam and I were having that discussion of, her talking about her and Andrew stretching themselves and buying that home and a decision that I'm making right now, I felt the fear of others' judgment. And that's what was stopping me from living my big, big, big dream life. And I had to meet myself and see that this is why I can't dream this dream. This is why I can't go as big as I want to go. It's not the action plan. It's actually me standing in my way from understanding what step 1, step 2, step 3, because I'm a little scared to dream this big. So invite in this moment to meet yourself and have the opportunity to understand why you're maybe not able to even plan out an action plan. And then I thought of another actual vision and goal that I had that was kind of similar to Sam's weight loss is when I was on my skin journey. I remember I wanted my skin to be as clear as day on my wedding day. So my dream was, okay, to have clear skin when I walk down that aisle. And a great moment that I had to understand if I was tapping into that vision and goal is when I looked at my schedule in there, how much time was being spent on that goal. So if you had a goal of clearing your skin and there was nowhere to be found of you
Mm.
taking care of yourself, lowering your cortisol levels, getting facials, that would show that that goal actually isn't as a priority as it needs to be to reach that end date or that end moment. And I think that was a big moment for me of why my skin changed is because I put the priority of my skin at the top of the list and allowed my schedule to reflect that.
Mm. And even if you're in this place right now where you, like, don't know where you wanna dream, like, you want more, and you know that there's something out there that feels so deserving of your time. I'm even wondering, like, if you were to ask yourself, "If I had 20% more time in my day, where would you spend it?" And to me, that's where your dreams and desires and biggest goals lie. So I'm excited for you guys to go through this exercise. Our third question, phone boundaries. Ooh, this is a good one.
Come on.
Phone boundaries, how to not use it as much. I personally y'all, I was bad as bad could be with 0 phone boundaries. Like, I actually took pride in my response time. Sam knows this about me. Like, I've told our team this since day one. I'm really big on, like, quick response, especially professionally, and I wore it as a badge of I'm gonna email back right away. I'm gonna answer my phone when someone's calling. I'm going to work quick and work fast and be extremely responsive. But the big but here is that that definitely extended itself to my personal life. And it wasn't until I went to Hoffman in January of this year where I did a week-long digital detox where I didn't even have my phone or my computer, where I realized how big of a problem I actually had. And it was such a dependency. And I actually lived out of a lot of fear. Um, we make meaning of things as we work through our trauma, and I found out about my mom dying through a phone call, and it made me feel like I could never turn off my phone. Like, I had to be on at all times, um, and that created a really, really unhealthy dependency, and it was a lot of fear-based emotions. And after Hoffman and I came back online, I realized, "Oh my god, my life is still right here." Even though I wasn't on my phone for a week, even though I wasn't updating my play-by-play every single day on my Instagram stories, even though I didn't talk to my best friends every single day, everything is still so good, and it made me realize this really important reflection in that when you are in a secure place, you actually don't need your phone as much. You actually don't need updates on what everyone else is doing and what else you need to be sharing with the world. Because a lot of that actually comes from a place of anxiousness or maybe something to prove, or maybe keeping tabs in a way that just is not healthy. So, my biggest takeaway from Hoffman was that my phone actually was a huge interruption to my day to day and would become this intrusion of what I was feeling in that present moment and really remove something that was happening in the present moment to take me out of that. So, what I do now is my phone is on Do Not Disturb all day long. And this is actually a conversation I've had with my family of never deliver bad news to me over a phone call. If you need to talk to me, you can send me a text and we can set time where even like with feedback with work, I'm sure for anyone listening to this who like gets feedback from their manager, you want to be briefed on like what's coming in. You don't want to live in this state of fear where some cryptic thing can be happening through your phone at any point. So in the workday, I'm completely on Do Not Disturb and I live on a cloud, and that's how I'm able to be productive. And when I go to bed at night, my phone's actually on our first floor. That's where I charge it, that's where I keep it, and I don't touch it until after I journal and meditate the next day. So huge boundaries there. I would also say with quality time with Andrew and I, and even with my friends, there is a very quick establishment of, okay, is this time that we are gonna all be on our phones, or are we gonna put the phone away and truly be here and be now? And I've been very, very sensitive to this in social settings. I'm sure we can all relate to being in a group of people where we're all just looking at our phones. And to me, it's honestly an insult to the quality time that I want to spend. And it's something that I've had to really channel my communication in or just remove myself from. So, really figuring out where you're comfortable too and setting those boundaries and having those conversations with the people around you so that our phones aren't these intrusions in our day to day and our present moments, but can be this gift of being able to communicate long distance and document the amazing moments that happen day to day without robbing ourselves from those amazing moments. Something that, just speaking to quality time with friends, that I am so grateful for in you, Sam, is when I am with you, I am your whole world. Your eyeballs are not going towards that phone. You live on Do Not Disturb. And this has been such a beautiful gift to almost like mimic from you and really witness from you for our entire friendship, is that you have always been very present, and that I think you deeply know how much the phone robs of that presence. So, I really am excited for everyone to hear how you intentionally check in with your phone and then the boundaries that you've set too.
I love you. I definitely love being so present with people. So when I am with people, the phone down is so important. But as far as my relationship with the phone, I actually think post Hoffman, because I was pretty good with it before and then not having it for a week and coming back, I actually think I built a relationship with the phone where I started to understand why I love it so much. Because there's so much talk of why the phone is disruptive and, social media, it's all too much. We're all carrying it at 24/7.
Mhm.
And for me, when I left Hoffman, I realized what is my relationship with my phone and how do I want to see it? And I actually wrote down the reasons I love the phone. So I wrote down,
Mm.
I love that I have access to so many people over the world, get to tap into social media, get to tap into these apps that people have created. I get to truly have this item that provides so much growth for me and so much connection. And that allowed me to actually love my phone rather than feel this feeling of it being such a disruptor. I also have very big boundaries around my phone of when I am on it. So in the morning, I absolutely do not see my phone. I do not click into it. And this is really important for me to be in my own energy, like Sam mentioned, meditate, journal, do what I need to do before I answer text or emails. Actually, I don't answer emails. I just want to.
Sam is not one with her inbox, and it's something I envy more than anything in life.
I just want to be very real here. My assistant will send me my top emails and then I will respond because this is my boundaries. Like I know where I thrive and I know where I don't. Sam is the
Yeah.
queen of actually responding to emails. But my point to this is I do not go off of do not disturb pretty much all day. And the reason I do this is because once I tap into my phone, anyone can call me at any point in time. And I'm fine with that because here's the thing, it's not on them to know where I'm at in my day to not call me. I love when people call me. I love when I get a FaceTime from a girlfriend that lives in Texas and showing me her baby. Like it's such a highlight for me. But the fact that I don't get choice as much when I'm not
Mhm.
on do not disturb because then I feel like, oh, I want to answer it, but
Yeah.
is it the right time? Do not disturbs allows me to go into my missed calls when I have that intentional time when I'm not on meetings, when I have a break, when I have a moment to be on my phone and see, oh, who did call? Oh my gosh, my friend called. I'm so excited to call her back. Let me text her. I'm going to call her back over dinner at 6:30. And then I know I'm going to have that intentional centered space to show up for her. Obviously, again, if family's calling, something's more urgent than that. I absolutely will get back to. I love to check in. Sam actually taught me this one too, is when a family member calls and maybe it does bring up a little bit of anxiety of why are they calling right now. I love to just send a note and say, "Hey, is everything okay? I'm at work."
Mhm.
And allow them to say half the time it's, "Oh, I was just calling to see how you're doing or what's going on in your world." And
Yeah.
I love
When
that.
you have
I'm
5
so
missed calls from your
grateful.
mom and you're like, "Literally, who died?"
You know,
Like,
actually, who
stop
died? And she's
it.
like, "I just wanted to say what's up." And that's the thing, I don't wanna ruin that for anyone else and have them feel like they can't call me. It's just what am I doing in my control with the phone and how I'm showing up. So, create your own boundaries, everyone else doesn't have to have them, but being on do not disturb and then having my phone be this place of, like I said, why do I love it? I love it because I get to connect with people. So, I schedule in my calendar for DM times. I schedule in my calendar for a doom scroll. Like, I actually love doom scrolling and, like, having a moment where I forget where I'm at and I'm learning or watching funny videos, but I schedule that in rather than picking my phone up every 5 seconds and tapping into the app. So have intentional time for the things that you like to do on your phone. I think that there's, like, also this helped me train to not tap into Instagram or TikTok so much because you guys watch how much that happens when you don't have an app blocker. I, like,
Uh,
set certain time when I was trying to train myself to not go into the app as much, and you'll see you naturally go to the app so many times in a day. If you're just going to text a text message, then you'll go to Instagram and you're like, "How did I even get here?"
yeah.
So I think that, like,
You can, like, move it
understanding.
around in your home screen too. I feel like that's such a hack.
Yes.
I'll, like, put Instagram on, like, the 3rd page of my apps.
Yes, no, that's so smart. It's like understanding your habits and then creating this relationship of social media isn't bad, your phone isn't bad, but understanding when you actually tap into it is so important rather than you just living in full chaos all day and tapping into the phone 24/7 and being on everyone else's terms rather than your own. Okay, next question. Number 4, prioritizing self when work and life are time consuming.
Mm. I love this question because in life, work and life are never not gonna be time consuming, so it's really up to you to figure out how you are going to prioritize you because your life is never gonna slow down. Like, I'm so here to admit that, it's chaotic and you've gotta create time for you before you're pouring into everyone else's cup. So for me, that's why I love mornings and, I might not work a typical 9 to 5. I probably work a 24/7 kind of vibe instead, but I feel like there's a lot of this talk about, like, the 5 AM to 9 AM before your 9 to 5, and that to me feels really intimidating and something that I could never opt into. And I want you to know that you prioritizing you can be something as simple as 15 to 20 minutes. Or if you're lucky, making the time to have the time and carving out a few hours in your morning to really do what you need to do. And for me, again, this happens every single morning. I don't have kids yet. I'm sure that's going to change things for all of our mamas listening. You are superheroes. And again, like life is going to continue to keep getting faster. So I think that's why it's so important to carve out that time. So, what that looks like for me is, again, not having my phone on me so that I'm not just diving into work. I used to be so bad. I would literally, first thing in bed, I had my phone as my alarm next to my bed. I would grab it, turn my alarm off, and go to my emails. And then I'd go to Instagram and then I'd go to my texts. Like it was so toxic. So I'm not on my phone. I'm taking time to breathe, to feel in my body, to be with self, to journal, to meditate, to fuel my body, to move my body, to get sunshine and fresh air, to be with my husband and our dogs, to send love to people that I love. And then I'm intentionally saying yes to all the other things that I probably don't have control over in that day. And this is also something that I've realized with my weekends. As someone who's very type A and loves structure, I found myself really planning my weekends. Sam knows this. I would know, like, by Wednesday of that week, okay, Friday night, I'm doing this, Saturday day, Saturday night, Sunday. Like, here is my weekend. And the busier my professional life got, the more I've realized that my weekends need to be more open ended. And that actually has given me the freedom to pour into my own cup in whatever ways I feel in those moments versus so much of my work week already being planned for me with the responsibilities of what I get to do. So, my advice here is make the time to have the time. Start waking up 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes earlier, and really figure out what you want to do to start off your day to then finish out the rest of your day and what you get to do for the rest of the world.
I love this question so much because whoever asked it, I feel like you are craving to prioritize yourself more, but you do have this busy life. And I think writing out all the ways that excite you to choose yourself, maybe it's a walk, being outside truly makes you so happy, or it is having a morning journaling routine, or it is calling that friend. Like, what are the ways that feel so soothing and so good to your body to give yourself self love or prioritize yourself in your days? Because I'll say this, I think movement, for example, might feel like I love my movement, but even in that, that's not me craving that as much as the freedom of playing. And that's what I need for myself in a day. So I think write out a list of all the things that feel exciting to prioritize self and what that looks like. And within work, we do this and I really love it is try to habit stack some of those things that make you feel good with your work.
Mm,
So for a phone call, for example, can you take that phone call on a walk? That way, it's not fully self, but at least you're getting a little bit of a sprinkle of this does feel really good for myself rather than being at a desk all day. Or you love that coffee like truly makes you feel so good. So can you meet at a meeting at a coffee shop rather than in a Zoom call in your room. Like, whatever it is, like trying to curate these things that bring you joy and prioritize yourself and bring them into your work. Like, invite the idea for your team that this could be really awesome for a lot of us. And then I think when you think about, okay, when I look at my schedule, how much of myself is in this? And if you realistically have 30 minutes in the day, how can you curate something that actually will make you feel like you're choosing yourself? Not what everyone else says is the right way to choose yourself. What is going to feel the most self soothing for you? What is going to feel the most exciting? And I think this is important because you might be doing things that are checking off the list that are choosing self, but they're not giving you the fuel and joy that it does feel like to actually prioritize self in your days. And lastly, the morning routine that Sam mentioned. This was like when you said it, the first
mhm.
thing that came to my gut was the morning routine. I think being able to wake up a little bit earlier, if you can, whatever your lifestyle is, to have that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is for you to prioritize yourself can change your entire day. Like the morning routine isn't having a big hype for no reason. I think it's because it's truly changing people's lives to
Yeah.
connect to themselves first before they enter in a full day. To be able to even ask yourself, how can I be there for my future self today? How can I choose myself? If you don't have that moment to ask that question, you're going to let the day control you rather than you saying, oh, a walk would be really nice for me today. Great. I'm going to put that into the calendar. And that is the moments of meeting yourself in the morning that actually change your life because you're allowing yourself to say what it needs to meet your best self. And you feel the difference. You feel the difference rather than waking up right away, tapping into your phone and letting everyone else tell you what you're going to do today
Oh
rather
my
than you
gosh.
actually do have control of what you want to do in your day.
We all know that feeling where you wake up, you look at your calendar, you're like, "Oh, fuck." Like, no.
And even noticing, like, sometimes when you're on travel, you have different days where you have less time
Mhm.
of self. Like, being realistic of every day
Yeah.
is different, but then that means you need it more to set time of, like, how can I show up for me in this really busy day? Is it 5 minutes? I give myself a
Yeah.
5-minute break to go outside and feel the sun on my skin, and that's what I got today.
Yeah. I mean, anything is something, and reminding yourself that you also deserve it. Like,
So
it's not
much.
selfish to choose self, it's actually just a need that you really deserve.
Mm. I am so grateful for this conversation. This is always like my form of therapy too when we talk about these
Totally.
things and reflect because these are all on our hearts and what we're having conversations about. So thank you guys again for sending in your questions. You can always send through, even in DMs, if you have certain questions that haven't been answered. We're always on the lookout, and we're so grateful to be sitting with you on this Transform episode.
Love you guys. We'll see you in the next one.